The Chuck Knoxx Show. Don't go to bed Mondays without it.
And we are live. Welcome into the Chuck Knoxx Show, the post-game edition of the disgusting Giants and Seahawks game that just wrapped up with the Giants losing 27-13. And we fall to 6-2 on the year, and the Seahawks improved to 5-3. And this was a game that the Giants offense was never in it. And if there was going to be an excuse or some kind of, bullshit reasoning as to why you need to add a wide receiver, which isn't really bullshit, it was pretty clear and evident today that really the lack of talent on the Giants' offensive side of the ball caught up with them here in Seattle. And despite the score, despite how lopsided it was, even in the statistics, they were in this game. They had every chance once again into the fourth quarter with a chance to win, but this time they finally come up short. And to get into it here right off the bat, from the very beginning of the game, you could feel that the Giants' offense was just not existent in the first quarter. Really, the first half, the whole game, really. But first piece of news we saw was Jalen Smith started the game at middle linebacker. Seattle, with their first possession, forced a punt, and that was a win for the Giants' momentum. But then the Giants do the same thing. They answer 3 and out, and we got a punt fest early to start. Seattle looks like they might be moving the ball down the field in their second possession, and then Dory Jackson, who had a, other than the play against Lockett and the touchdown later, Dory had an absolutely outstanding game. Swats down a third down pass, and Seattle's forced to punt again. Giants get the ball back, and once again, another 3 and out. And right there's your start to the game. Punt, 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 punt. 2 possessions each, and it's nothing. Seattle gets the ball, same thing, drive, couple first downs. But at least Seattle at this point was committing first downs. Giants defense comes up, boom, there's a punt. Giants get the ball back, same scenario again, 3 and out, 3 and out. So 3 and outs, which they showed the statistic, had not happened since the one start that Geno Smith had as a Giant against the Raiders. Go figure, right? And then to end the first quarter, as the teams were trading off punts here, a nice sack. McFadden for the Giants has a big second down sack, which ends the first quarter 0-0 as the juggernaut offenses just come out looking like shit in Seattle. It hasn't even rained at this point. It was just pure shit offense. But Seattle was moving the ball. They're down there in the red zone. And right there to start off the second quarter, once again, Dory Jackson has a huge play in the end zone, swats down what was a touchdown, what would have been a touchdown, and saves the 7 off the board for the Giants, which at that point forces Seattle into a 4th and 2, setting up 1st and goal. And right there, you saw look, DK Metcalf, there's only so much you can do. And the guy's incredible. He's a monster on the field. It'd be a nightmare to try and cover him. And Geno hits him in the back of the end zone. And right there, they answered first, 7-0 Seattle. And with the way the Giants' offense looked early, you wondered, can we even match this? Giants get the ball back and respond with their first first downs of the game, but stalling out, had to punt. Nice punt by the Scottish Hammer, which sent the Seahawks down to the 2-yard line. And right here, I bring his name up again, Dory Jackson. First play, Seattle and Geno Smith got their backs to the wall right at the Giants' end zone. And Dory Jackson strips Lockett right on the 2-yard line. The Giants recover, which gets us the ball right on our doorstep. And had it not been for this play right here, I don't even know if we would have scored a touchdown in this game. Saquon punches it in. Giants tie the game up 7-7. Momentum on the Giants side. Things looking up here. And by the way, on this play, on this touchdown, a monumental block from Nick Gates, making his return from the unbelievable injury. An amazing story from Nick Gates, and he was a big part of the Saquon Barkley touchdown play. And I'm sure everybody's seen the replay. Just an outstanding block, and he was actually all over the field today. Hats off to Nick Gates. Next possession, here comes the Seahawks, and the big cat gets a big sack on Geno Smith, sending the Seahawks backwards. And right here was what should have been the fucking play of the game. 2 plays later, McKinney with an outstanding, he absolutely destroys Geno Smith coming off the left-hand side, just drills Geno Smith to the ground on third down. This forces another punt. And you're thinking right here, after that huge sack, the crowd is silenced. The Giants' sidelines is going nuts. McKinney's got a body bag out there. Here comes the punt, and Richie James, which was about to be the story of the fucking game. Richie James fumbles the punt. The Seahawks recover right here in the red zone. But the Giants D held up here. Multiple times today, when the Giants did need to stop, the defense did come up and they stopped them. They held them. Seahawks had to force to take a 10-7 lead as we're closing down the second quarter. And then I really have to say this, to me, was the worst play calling all season from the Giants offensively. And there's many reasons why the play calling was so predictable, boring. You know, look who's out there. Look who you're having to throw to. But this was an example to me that this is the third time, I think, this season where I've disagreed with the play calling at the end of the first half. The Giants had, I think, two timeouts with a little bit over a minute left. And so there's plenty of time to play conservatively enough to get a couple passes down the field, get Geno into field goal range, and maybe try at least a long field goal. But with the Giants had the ball here at 3rd and 2 with 24 seconds left, Giants go for a pass. And I'm thinking, well, it's 3rd and 2. You're either taking Jones or you're taking Barkley and you're running up the middle 2-yard lines. Bam, no problem. Instead, it was, to me, a bad play call, and Jones gets a sack, and the Giants are forced to punt the ball. And that could have been a nightmare. Could have been a lot worse. But they do just go into the half 10-7. But they played conservatively. They didn't try to get the points on the board, and they just said, okay, you know what? We're getting the ball at the half. We'll go in. We'll build some momentum. I'm on board at this point. 10-7 lead. Shaping up to be our type of game. Let's go for it. And right there, the first possession, Giants get the ball. And Slayton was, the first half, non-existent, as Jones also in the first half. His numbers were drastically different in the second half, but right there, Slayton gets a big-time third down, 3rd and 12, big first down. Giants just start moving the ball, where they struggled to even get first downs in the first half, come out immediately. And then another 16-yard first down to Slayton. So right there, boom, Slayton, getting involved in the game, getting big first downs, and before you know it, the Giants are right down there with a methodical. They ate this drive up over almost 9 minutes, a 79-yard drive. But they come up short again, story of the game, but Geno ties the game 10-10 with a field goal. And this, like I said, this took 9 minutes right out of the third quarter. In Seattle, right here, this is where it was like, this is going to be the second half that the Giants have continued to see, where they get the breaks here, they get the lucky bounces here. There was a huge bomb. I don't even remember how long the pass was. Russell Wilson gets Lockett just burnt, wide open, and he drops it. Drops the wide open touchdown pass on 3rd down. So the Giants defense with another win there, as the Seahawks are forced to kick a 3, and they do. They're up 13-10 now. And at this point, this is almost the end of the third quarter. And once the Giants get the ball back, couple drives here, 3rd and 11, the Giants, again, Slayton, dimes to Slayton, setting up what looks like their type of fourth quarter. End of the third quarter, Giants trail by 3. And you could feel it in the second half. Jones with the rhythm and Slayton. It was going to be Slayton or bust at this point. But somebody was going to have to make a big play, because the Giants couldn't at least stop Seattle from scoring field goals at this point. We're trading field goals. We'll take that every time. But just like this game, if we didn't get that play in the strip, the fumble, I don't know if the Giants ever get in red zone to begin with. Fourth quarter starts right away. Giants are converting another 3rd down. They were really good on 3rd down today. Moving the ball. And then there was a huge 8-yard loss by Bruce Irvin getting in the backfield. 8 Saquon alive. That really fucked up the drive here, as the Giants were on 3rd down in field goal range. Thank God. Geno ties the game up 13-13. This is about I'd say what, 10 minutes, 11 minutes to go. We got a tie ball game in the fourth quarter. You know, this is the Giants game. This is our type of game at this point. And I'm not even at this stage in the game, not even worried about the lack of receiver coverage or production, because at least they're moving the ball. We want to play for touchdowns, but we're in a field goal battle. I'll take that, on the road. But then the next drive, Seattle in response to the Giants, tying the game at 13. Here come the Seahawks. And this was Geno Smith just carving the Giants defense up on this drive. Nice response. And then to make up for his earlier drop, Lockett with a huge 38-yard bomb from Geno Smith, touchdown, ripped the Giants' momentum right out, right here. But, okay, 20-13, still manageable. So with 20-13, now there's no more field goals, there's no more messing around. How are the Giants going to respond? And they respond as they've responded most of this game, another 3 and out. Now there's 7 minutes, 7 and change left. Giants are down by a touchdown. And it just looked like pure shit on offense all day. Defense keeps trying to come up, making big stops as they can. A lot of key third down stops from the Giants defense. And they do it again here. They give the ball back to the offense once again with another big stop. Forces Seahawks to punt. Setting up what looks like probably the game-tying drive from Jones in the offense. And the next thing that happened, I have no words. If you've seen the reaction video already, I lost my mind. And justifiably so. Because right here, the momentum is clearly on the Giants' side. Now, I don't know if we were going to drive down the field and tie this game or not, but we didn't even get the chance. We never got a chance because for the second time in the game, Richie James fumbles the fucking ball right in the red zone for the Seahawks. And you could feel it, went right out, open air stadium. The hearts were ripped out of the Giants and the Giants fans that were there and across the country. And it really is like a microcosm of the entire season. For this point, until this game, the Giants have been able to plug in these nobody receivers, barely practice squad receivers. Plug them in there, just get the job done. And today in Seattle, that narrative came to die. Because for a while, you've been able to rely on David Seals, Richie James, and the Amazon truck driver, Johnson, who he hasn't caught a ball. I don't even know when. He did catch a ball today. He had 1 catch, 3 yards. But he drops more than he catches. But here's Richie James, 2 huge fumbles. Without a doubt, cost the Giants. And so right there, you have the Seahawks right at the doorstep. You knew what this was going to be, and hoping that you can hold them to 3, but to no avail, as finally the rookie from Michigan State, Kenneth Walker, bust out, just ran the shit out of the ball here, stomped over the Giants, 3 or 4 Giants, missed tackles, stepped all over them as he runs into the end zone, 27-13, and what would be the final. Giants had a chance. They did drive the ball down, but on 4th and 7, they couldn't convert, and that would be the ball game as Jones gets sacked. And this is, you couldn't have a bye week come at a better time right now for the New York Giants on many fronts. Number one, it's going to allow a lot of guys that are still banged up to get healthy. There should be some guys returning after the bye. I don't know who's going to be dropping after this game. I know Leonard Williams came back in the game. He was the only Giant I remember leaving, but he did come back. But beyond the injuries, you're going to have a week to kind of just reset. You had a nice winning streak, get kind of knocked back to reality today that, look, you're still playing. This is all house money. This is by far, and we've known this, the least talented team in the NFL. One of them, for sure. You can only go so far before you're going to have to make some adjustments. And we've seen it on defense. The Giants have switched around linebackers. They brought in Landon Collins. They brought guys off the street. Offensively, though, something's got to give here because Jones and Barkley are dying for help. I don't know what's going to happen. This week, the Giants, they made the big splash. They made the noise by trading Kadarius Toney. So at the very least, you don't have to worry and look over with a fine tooth. Is he going to be on that injury report? That's over with. But you still have Kenny Golladay, hopefully back. We don't know how much, to this point, he hasn't contributed shit for this offense. So it'd be great on paper to say, yeah, well, at least you got Kenny Golladay to come back. Just the type receiver that you need. But who is Kenny Golladay? I don't know who he is. There's nothing that indicates at this point that Kenny Golladay can step up and contribute. But I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because quite frankly, we have no choice. Wan'Dale Robinson is a rookie. He was every bit of a rookie today. But, he can't be your number one. So do the Giants go out and make a trade? Do you go out? Or do you sign a guy like OBJ? I don't think the Panthers are going to get rid of Moore. Everybody keeps thinking the Giants are in play for Judy. But there's like 3 or 4 teams attached to every single one of these guys, including Odell. It's a frustrating loss for everybody, all the fans, all the way down. But this coaching staff is going to have a game or two like this, and this is a chance and an opportunity to do some really good soul searching and some really good coaching. And I believe, look, Dable and staff and Wink and everybody, they're built for this. They're built for these types of moments. And you got a Giants team that's going to heal up after the bye week and be able to come back out with, 2 winnable games. Every game is tough, but you have 2 home games next after the bye. Getting time to rest, first for the Texans and then the Detroit Lions before you head into Dallas. Cannot overlook anything, cannot look over one team. But, again, the bye week could not come at the more perfect time than right now. This team is struggling on offense. They have time to figure things out. You have time to heal, and if need be, and I say need be for sure, we need somebody to come in here. A lot of fans don't like the Odell Beckham possibility. Some still think for some bizarre reason that he's some kind of head case or locker room cancer, which to me, there's never been evidence of it. Or they say you can't afford him. But the reality is, and I've said this many times, if you really think about it, in order to get one of these guys that people want to trade for, the Giants, who are clearly in rebuild mode, are going to have to give up draft picks. Now, granted, I think they're up to 11 picks in the 2023 draft. So they do have something to play with. No question about it, including the complimentary 3rd round that we just got from the Chiefs. But, this regime strikes me as a regime that wants to stockpile as many picks as they want because they want to use them because they're in complete rebuild mode. So the one thing that makes sense is if you believe that you're a team that's making a run, and you're right in the thick of things, to me, you go out and you rent a guy. Now you say, well, look at the cap situation, and it's awful. But as far as Odell goes, this is a guy that got just above the league vet minimum in LA last year. He blows his ACL out in the Super Bowl. And you're going to, whether he likes it or not, somebody's going to rent this guy for a prove-it 1-year veteran deal. And if you're looking at the teams that are attached to the OBJ saga, because they're teams that are in the thick of it and they want to rent him, Kansas City, Buffalo, even Green Bay has been thrown in there. Why in the world would the Giants not be one of them? If this guy is going to be a veteran minimum deal, if that's what it is. You don't know what kind of guy you're going to get, but look, sports science has advanced tremendously. Nick Gates is living proof, and I understand that broken bones are different than what OBJ has gone through with surgeries on his knee. I understand that. But a half of OBJ at this point is better than 100 Richie James, better than 100 Marcus Johnsons. I'll take a 50% OBJ at this point, because all we need is somebody that Daniel Jones can just have confidence in and rely on. Not asking him to go out there and break ankles. But we need help. We need help offensively if we're going to go further. If we're going to go deep, we got to get some help. And hopefully we get Kenny Golladay back. I don't know what that even means yet, so I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't even know what that means to have Kenny Golladay on the sidelines. But the Giants, look, this is a wake-up call. This puts us all back into perspective. Everybody in this damn division today won a game, but the New York Giants. And you're going to have some Sundays like that. And that's the thing about this year and this division right now. It is so tough and so neck and neck. Everybody, nobody has any room to blink. You really cannot afford, with 3 teams all biting for first place and Philly's still undefeated. You can't afford to blink. And now this is the way it's going to shape out. To go into the bye week, only a 2-loss team. You know, there's no reason to sit here and get down, but we got to get better. And that's the way I'm approaching it. No reason to get down, but we got to get better. And that's going to start this off week right here. The Giants will heal up, and we'll see if they make a move before the trade deadline. There's going to be a lot to go over in this week, and then next week we're just going to go right into the bye week with looking to Houston and looking to the second half of the season. You can't complain about the first half of the season. This was a tough loss. We've had a lot worse than this. But at the end of the day, this is still a 6-win football team, 6-2. Wanted to get to 7-1 before the bye, but we're in great shape over the these next few weeks with some winnable games and hopefully a healthy New York Football Giants team coming back for the second half of the season. So it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. We won't get to have a victory Monday, but we've had 6 of them already. We'll let this one slide and lick our wounds as we go into next week. You can find me everywhere. We'll be breaking this down all week. Of course, at YouTube, Mr. Chuck Knoxx, Facebook, Mr. Chuck Knoxx, and at Chuck Knoxx at all the other socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. And Wednesday, we'll be back with the week podcast. And so that's going to wrap up the post-game show here. Leave your comments. Let's talk about it. We'll get through it. Like I said, this was a bad week, but we're still a 6-2 team. So keep your head up high, and I'll be seeing you guys real soon. Till then, I'm out.